Hello and welcome to another episode of The Parenting Business, the podcast where Ben and I just have a bit of a chat between ourselves and you guys kind of listen about all of the trials and tribulations of being a parent, being a business owner, and maybe there's some stuff you can relate to. And occasionally we have a guest on as well, like we have this evening. Before we get into the main part of the show, don't forget to follow us on Spotify or wherever you listen. Do also feel free to share your stories, top tips of how you balance your parenting business. You can either leave us a comment or drop us an email at podcast@parentingbusiness.com. Also, if you like what you hear, please share the podcast with other parents and business owners and leave us a 5-star review to help us spread the support. And with that, let's get on with this week's show. Benjamin, hello.
Hello, Poppet.
How are you?
Very well, very well. I've had a good week.
I'm actually on the cider tonight.
You're
I'm
on the
drinking.
piss already. Blimey, what's gone wrong with you today?
You know what? I
Is it all
just
getting a bit
kind of
much?
felt like one.
All right. Calming
No,
the
I
nerves.
just felt like one to chill out.
Okay. Well, we all have our vices.
And the sun's been shining, so why not?
It has. I may have a problem for the foreseeable remainder of my life if my 4-year-old is to be believed. She stomped her foot earlier today and told me she's never going to bed ever again. So that's going to bring tantrums and a tricky one.
Is she by any chance in bed now?
Yeah, she's fast asleep now. It didn't last long, did
Oh,
it? But I think that's going to make life interesting.
Yeah. So how's your week been? We've got a guest on this week, as I kind of mentioned in the pre-show introduction. So let's move straight on so that we can get this guest in to tell me your highs and lows for the week.
I've only got the one low, and it's relatively minor in the scheme of things. We're a little bit tight on the cash. We're not. We had a poor, regular listeners will know, New Year. We had staff problems. Order book wasn't great. So we kind of seen the people who are paying their bills now of really what we sold back in February, March, which is down. We are very busy again now. Order book's nice and full. There's a lot of work going out. We had a crack in April, but frankly, we're shelling out for a lot of staff time, overtime, materials at the minute, and it's kind of led to a bit of a squeeze. Frankly, it is nothing like the problems we had a few years ago, so it doesn't even touch the radar in that scheme. But if I'm coming to you with a low, I'm spending too long. Can you pay your bill? Ring, ring.
Yeah.
You're late. Can you pay your bill? Ring, ring. Come on, I fucking need it. Can you pay your bloody bill? That's a little bit frustrating.
Question for you relating to that.
Yeah.
Do you have automatic reminders set up in your accounting software? No,
because I keep getting automatic reminders of stuff I've already paid. It drives me nuts. So it's not something I'm going to want to do.
Oh, that's just poor admin, though, isn't it? That's
very
people
poor
not
admin.
Reconciling their payments that you've made.
It's very poor admin. However, might that happen to me one day? I mean, I get emails on a Sunday from one of the people for a bill I've paid Thursday, Friday. Well, you need to be on the ball with your reconciling, and I am, to be fair, but it's one slip up away from pissing somebody off. It's not worth it. I'd sooner do it manually anyway. I'm more on the ball that way.
Okay.
And I never really missed much of a trick about this time. It's just the frustrating playing the games. You know, there's bills from January one customer still owes us. They're on 60 days anyway. Well, it's 120 now, and I've had the last month or so of being on the case a bit, and we're still waiting for invoices to be approved. And it's like, well, here's the fucking proof of delivery from January. You've definitely had it.
Wow. Yeah.
Why aren't you? Yeah. So now I'm ringing around all the bloody managers. I'll name drop them. Fuck them. It's Swissport. So we look after.
Funnily enough, I thought that it might be Swissport.
We look after however many of the UK and Ireland airports. So I'm ringing round. Not just East Mids, but Stansted, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, Shamrock, Scotland. I'm ringing Southampton, Doncaster. In fact, I'm not waiting for Doncaster, but I'm ringing around a few airports. Like, can you approve these bloody bills from January and February? Because I'm a bit pissed off now. You've got orders on. I'm not going to get them out for you. You're on stop, sort of thing. That's frustrating.
Do they not have an automated, a portal system where you submit invoices?
No, not for me.
Ah, that's a shame. We've got a couple of our customers, big customers like that, have a portal. We submit it through the portal.
It's not the submission,
and we can see exactly who's responsible for approving it.
Yeah.
If and when it's been approved, when it's due to go into a payment run, so we can follow it right away through their portal.
Nag, bitch, and moan. It pisses me off a bit. I mean, there's a couple that's dragging their feet, but they're particularly poor yet again, not for the first time. So
often it's the biggest companies that are the poorest.
Yeah.
Too much red tape.
Mm.
Yeah, keep it.
Agreed.
The smaller companies often pay far quicker.
So anyway, that's me low.
Yep.
I'm going to hit you with 3 highs this week. Getting higher than Bob Marley. So first and foremost, nice and quick one. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law had a little girl last week.
Oh, congratulations to them!
New addition to the family. That's nice, and it's
really nice.
Yeah, it's their firstborn as well, so it's nice to go into the house and see them totally relaxed with the world and at peace with the world and happy with life. Normally, they're very much management type people who are always got an adventure somewhere.
Yeah.
Speak to them, they just come back from skiing or they're just off doing something that doesn't interest me in the slightest. But fair play to you. So it was nice to see them just stop.
Yeah.
That was good. Number 2, I had a very nice Friday at one of the networking things I'm part of, 1% Club. That was the annual bash. So, treated to some freebies and a day out in Solihull. So who doesn't like a day?
Solihull, the sunny sights of Solihull.
It's middle of the country, isn't it, for people in the north and in the south all congregate.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was going to expect, but I had a brilliant time. Learned
good
doing it, had a cracking day out, and I've not had a day out for ages. But top of the tree, we had our christening this weekend.
Yes, I saw on the socials that you'd had your christening. It looked lovely.
It was lovely. We do events, even our wedding. It's not. We're not no airs and graces. We don't keep up with the Joneses. There's no pressure at anything.
Yeah.
And this was very much similar. It was just we just had family and godparents, and it was just nice. There's nothing went wrong. Nothing to go wrong as such. Just service. Kids are on great form. Every now and then, no, not doing it now. There's all family. There's people in the room, 30 odd. There's all family. It was all happy, all nice. Little man had a reasonable sleep in the morning, so he wasn't hanging the arse either. He was jumping around and enjoying himself, so attention. That was it. Just a day afterwards, a few family members came back to our house, and 4 o'clock all done.
Brilliant.
Bath, pajamas, cuddle up, and it was just a really, really lovely day.
And what about the kids?
When they
once you'd done your bath and pajamas.
But when the vicar did their bit at the font, I just that warm, glowy, proud dad moment of this is great. So that's going to be my high for a while. I won't drone on about it for weeks on end, but I'm never going to forget Sunday. It was lovely.
Yeah.
Your turn.
No, I like it.
It was nice, mate. I was really, really happy. I was in my little happy place. Still am about it. It was great. So cracking week for me on the whole.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. My lows, because I've kind of got a few, but again, the grand scheme of things, they're nothing major. So firstly, there's just not enough hours in the day. I look to try and be efficient, but there's so many things I want to get done, whether that be at home, at work, or anything, for the business or for personal life. It's just a never-ending list. So that it's not a low as such, but it's frustrating. And my next one actually is also a frustration. So I'm doing a big push on marketing to certain groups and things at the minute. So we've done some PMP marketing.
Who? PMP?
PMP. So mail, phone.
Right. Okay. Why don't you say that? Then everyone would know what you mean.
Well,
PMP, you sound like a fucking disease. Go on.
and there's frustration around that, and frustration around the time it takes, or the time it takes to follow up. Which, because I'm impatient, so I get the stuff sent out, or I'll speak to a customer who says, "Yeah, we're not quite ready yet," and I want to phone them a week later and go, "Are you ready now?
Yeah.
Are you ready now?"
Months,
Or I want to get the marketing sent out, and then a few days later say, "So, have you got this?" Because I'm so excited about the product that we manufacture, and I'm so passionate about it, I want everybody else to have that passion. And I know that they don't. But that's kind of, it's been difficult, oddly, this week. The other one I will mention, and it's linked to my high, but is the opposite of my high. So, to an extent, in that being a single separated parent is bloody hard. Now, I say single only because the fact that my partner doesn't live with me, she's not close, so she's not on hand. So effectively, when my daughter's here and it's with me and it's just me, it's, it is just me. I am effectively a single parent. And it's demanding. Don't get me wrong. I love having time with my daughter. It's brilliant. But it's demanding not having that time to yourself. So I understand the frustration of single parents, but it's also demanding that I don't get all the time with her, because there's so much that I want to do for her, do with her, and so on and so forth, and for her to experience as well, and for me to support her with. There isn't enough hours in the day to do it all. So we're always on the go. We don't get so much of that just, living, because she's not with me all the time. Yeah. If she was with me all the time, then, and, I'd got the support of a partner with me all the time, then it is so much easier, I believe. So was a bit of a kind of frustration, because we've just had, and this brings me onto my high, just had a fantastic weekend. Long weekend, because with it being bank holiday, with us now being in May, and we got lots done. We went to a big family party, because it was my auntie and uncle's 75th birthday this year. So it was one of those parties, and she loves to organise them, and I moan about them, and we probably all moan about them, because you're seeing family that you've not seen for 10 years, but actually you had a good night, and it's kind of, do I really have to go? But when you get there, you go, actually, it's all right. We had fun. It was nice to see people and all this, a really, really late night. But then, we did that. We did football. We had to go out and do some shopping. We had to then go out the next day and see my parents and see other family members. We then had to go and do other stuff. We then went the next day, because we'd said we'd go to the car boot sale. We then had to go to the shop because my daughter wanted to spend some birthday money. We then had a party of one of our friends, and it was just non-stop trying to squeeze everything in. So it was fantastic, and I did love every minute, but I'm bloody exhausted. She, I'm sure, was exhausted, because we couldn't space it out, because things like taking her to the toy shop to spend her birthday money, we've got to fit into a limited space of time alongside everything else. Whereas if we were together all the time, we could go, let's pop after school one day, and do that on the way home from school. We don't have to do it in a limited, space and time. So, yeah, I mean, it was great. I love time with my daughter, but it's tough. It's absolutely tough. I don't know, I'm only guessing here, but I think it's tougher for separated parents that have shared care in some ways than a single parent that's looking after their child all the time. And I know that there'll be some people that are probably screaming, at their car radio, or, at their in their headphones, or whatever, saying, don't be so ridiculous. Being a single parent looking after children 24/7 has got to be much harder. But I think you have more time. I think it's challenging in different ways.
And obviously I'm not a single parent, but equally we've got 3 other little sods. It is full on, I should imagine, for a single parent. You don't get a minute to yourself.
No.
A lot of the time. You don't get out. You don't see your friends as much. So it's a different kind of strain
Yes.
than yes, you have a few days of trying to cram everything in. You don't probably quite have to go at that pace, but I don't think many single parents would swap with you where you don't see your child all week, or a 10-day stretch, and then you get the following weekend, or whatever the arrangement. I think, although you're not as full on, it's worse what you go through.
Yeah,
I couldn't go 10 days without seeing my kid.
Potentially, in lots of ways, it is worse. Is it harder? I don't know. I think it's harder.
Yeah, the emotions will be harder. The emotional heartache
in
of not seeing your
ways.
child in different ways, but the emotional heartache of not seeing your child all week would be harder for me than, you're intense and you're driving me nuts, which would come from a single parent.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit of that now, but it's shared. It's minor in comparison to, how do we come across some parents who have got 2, maybe 3 kids and doing it single, but how the hell do you get through the day, love?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I don't think they'd swap with yourself and not see them all week. They'll kill you in the other way. So
yeah, it does at times, and it's strange. I was saying to my partner the other day, and I won't go into too much detail because we've got to move on to our interview, and maybe we'll talk about this on another episode. But I don't sleep very well on the first couple of nights after my daughter's gone to stop at her mum's.
Yeah,
because I'm into that habit of light sleeping, expecting, listening out for my daughter and so on and so forth. So, but nothing happening. So, yeah. Now, interestingly, we're going to move on to our interview that we recorded a couple of weeks ago with someone who's gone through kind of exactly that thing of being a single parent, raising children, and being an entrepreneur as well.
No, kind of. How did she do it?
Yeah.
We've been rabbiting for an hour plus with this with the lady, and I ain't got a clue how she did it.
Well, let's go on and let's have a chat with her, and let's go into our interview with Tarja Keen from Finero.
International podcast interview of a Finnish lady in Spain. Here's Tarja.
Hello, Tarja, and welcome to the Parenting Business. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, you and I have known each other for quite a few years. I know a fair bit about you, your life, but Ben's never met you before, and our listeners probably haven't heard of you before. So tell us about your kind of business, your kind of life leading up to where you are now in business.
Yeah. Well, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, and I've been building businesses and growing businesses internationally. I've also gone through some very difficult situations where things didn't go as planned at all, and at the same time, I've been a single parent for 4 children. They are all adults now, and they've grown up in a bilingual environment, speaking both Finnish and English, which has been a big part of our everyday life. But like I said, I've been single parent for a large part of that journey, so it's been quite tough balancing business and family.
Yeah, I
It's
can
never been
imagine.
simple.
So you mentioned, we'll start with kind of business things. You mentioned that you're an entrepreneur. Give us an idea of your life through business, because you've also traveled a fair bit in your life and lived in a few different places, haven't you?
Yes, I lived in Italy for almost 10 years. I lived in the UK on the Isle of Wight for quite many years, and now me and the children, we've been back to Finland for almost for 14 years. Um, children are quite international at the moment. The oldest one is studying in Latvia. The other one is living. The second daughter is living in Spain, and twin boys are now 18, and they're still in Finland in school, but soon going to the Finnish military.
So very spread as a family.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
your businesses then, just give us a bit of a rundown of the types of businesses you've been involved with and
Oh,
are
well,
currently involved with.
yeah, in Italy, when I was home looking after the two daughters, um, the being home with the children started being a bit boring, I guess. So I started a company in Italy, making maternity clothes and
Okay.
importing them or taking them and selling them in Finland, which was quite a bit of a hobby at the time. But yeah, now I have Finnero, which is I always say Finnero. It's like a Finn for Finland, and Nero means Italian. It means genius. So Finnish
Okay.
genius, Finnero. So, but yeah, we design and manufacture pet products, and we sell them all over the world. So that's what we do now.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So your kind of family life. You mentioned that you've got 4 children. You've moved around quite a bit, and you said you've been a single parent for, I'm guessing, a large proportion of their life.
Yes, yes.
Tell us a little bit about kind of how that came about and the movements that you've done with the children then, because
Yeah,
they're bilingual and have lived in a few places.
yeah, we lived in England for quite a long time. Um, but then I think I remember boys were 4 years old. Twin boys were 4 when um I got divorced, and I took the children back to Finland. So we moved there so that I could get help from my parents. So
Okay.
it's not easy to be single with 4. Not easy at all.
That must have been a big challenge.
It was, yeah. I think the hardest part is really that you never feel like you're enough for either role, like being an entrepreneur and being a parent. You it feels like you're not enough.
Yeah. Do you think it? I liken it to imposter syndrome, where you feel that you're pretending to do those things rather than actually being what you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. With the kids, that was obviously a tough time for you. How did it kind of affect them? Because how old your youngest boys, your twin boys, were 4 at the time,
Yeah.
and your daughters are a bit older.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing your daughters, it may be affected a little bit more, because were they already in school by that point and changing friends and
Yeah, it was difficult because obviously their first language was always English.
right?
So when we moved back to, well, I've moved back to Finland. They hadn't been there before, so it was basically they moved to Finland from England, and it was very, very hard and difficult at first because their Finnish was very limited. Like a vocabulary was very limited in Finnish, and it was difficult for them to get friends and get into hobbies and everything. And also, another thing I found really difficult was because at the time, we moved to a small city or small town, and there was, even when the boys went into a nursery, like I don't know if you say kindergarten or nursery, better.
Yeah.
There was not a single caretaker who would speak English, and also the culture shock was big. I Even for me, because I'd been gone for quite a long time from Finland, so it was the first things the girls were saying when they came home first day from school. They say like, "Mom, the teachers are called by their first name and not Mrs. or Mister," and they were shocked when nobody says excuse me or nobody says please. Um, a funny thing, we don't even have a word for please in Finnish, so it's quite
Okay.
yeah, it's quite weird. So it was very culture shock. Even the one thing that they were shocked is that everybody has to drink milk at school. For years, I was fighting that against, with the teachers. I said, my children don't drink milk. They have not learned to drink milk with their dinner. Yeah, a lot of cultural things that were
Yeah.
difficult.
And you said that culture kind of shock affected you as well. In what way? What was the kind of difference? I get the impression that Finnish people are much more direct.
They're very direct, yes. And also, I think in a way, but I think it comes down to the Finnish language, the way we speak the language. It's difficult because to somebody else it might sound rude way we speak, but it's a normal way of speaking. And there is a way to obviously speak Finnish more politely, but a lot of people just the common language is not. We don't say please at all. Just an example. If we would be sitting around the table, dinner table, and I would ask you to, if you could pass me the bread, please. In Finnish, I would just say, "Give me the bread." So I think that was a bit shock to me after living in Italy and living in England for so many years, because both languages are very polite, especially English is very polite. And so it was a bit of a shock to learn how to speak again Finnish,
Yeah.
different way.
And how long had you been away from Finland at this point? At the point you moved back?
Yeah, I was away for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I went back, so yeah, and
Okay.
it was, yeah, it was also the first day when we were back, I was actually laughing at myself when I was like trying to get used to speaking Finnish again. So, but
And you were obviously going through quite a difficult time. You said you were going through a divorce at the time.
yes, yeah,
So that, I'm guessing, was pretty challenging for you and pretty challenging for the children as well.
yes, yeah,
But
absolutely. It
but
was.
then you were also trying to manage a business at the time, were you? Still,
Yes,
or
yeah.
what were you doing business-wise at that point to earn money?
Well, I was kind of trying to find my place, like where I belong in Finland, and I was a financial advisor in England, and I loved
Okay.
that job. But there was not a similar job to jump into in Finland. So I was kind of trying to find what do I want to be when I grow up? And but I did do a couple different kind of jobs at first, and then I got a job being a CEO for a pet product company,
Okay.
and that's where the idea for Finnero started from. Because what happened with that company was that the owner suddenly died, and I
Wow.
ended up buying the brand and buying the company and continuing as Finnero.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit more about the progression with Finero. You started Finero originally with somebody else, and
Yes.
I have personal experience, negative experience of business partners. Tell me a little bit about how that kind of played out for you.
Well, at the moment, I'm like a single entrepreneur in Finnero. I do have investors, but not another entrepreneur with me. But I did have, like you said, I did have an entrepreneur at the beginning, and we had it was a good combination because she was more into designing and I was more into numbers and sales. And it started okay. But I think what happened with her is that we had a very different view of how to take the business forward. And I was more into the international side of the business, and I think she wasn't. So we ended up agreeing that only one would continue, and I let her decide what she wanted to do, and she decided to step away from the business. But yeah, that was it was a bit scary because when you do have a business partner, you feel a bit safer that you're not in it alone. But I'm okay actually now. I prefer being the only entrepreneur and making the decisions. But yeah, like I said, I've also had very difficult times with businesses, and I've had other businesses previously where things really went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can have a massive effect on you. I
Yeah.
know personally it still has a massive effect on you, and it can be a challenge for as a business owner, can't it?
Yes. It was a company that every possible thing went wrong, and the hardest part wasn't that was part wasn't even the business situation. It was when things started going wrong. The hardest part was going home myself and trying to be present as a parent when mentally I was exhausted, and I could just feel like I was crying all the time. And it's just, but you still need to be present to your children. So that was difficult. I had a business partner it was a best friend, good friend, somebody who I trusted completely, and she mishandled company funds. And I don't want to go into legal details, but happened. What happened meant that as a do I say it like a guarantor, like guarant I was the one guaranteeing the loan, so guarantor. So I became legally responsible for everything, for the situation. So that was difficult.
Yeah. And just going back to sort of the earlier days in Finero, when you were building Finero, I'm sure you were putting a huge number of hours into building your business, as you have done a lot of time. You talk about being present for the children as much as you can.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do that? Or did you manage to do it? It's
Good.
tough.
Good, good, good point. Um, I I think the children, they saw the struggle, and I even remember during the COVID, when schools closed and everybody was homeschooled. So can you imagine the situation? I had 4 children, like being homeschooled, and there I was trying to keep the business up and running at the same time, and children fighting, and 4 teams meetings at the same time, trying to make sure boys were even so young that I almost had to tie them to the chair so that they can sit still. And but it was a juggle. It really
Yeah.
was a juggle. But also the more they grew up, like the older they got, the more they understood that it was something I had to do to keep us going.
And how much did and do the children know about your business? Do you involve them in, I'm guessing you protect them from certain things, but how much do they know and understand about what's going on and what's gone on in the past?
Well, mostly like when I've been um, with all of my businesses, I've always worked from home.
Right.
So basically, they've always seen everything very closely. They've seen the panic, or they've seen my cries, or they've seen my happy things when I get big sales. They've seen it all very closely. And one thing that they always knew, they were like, oh, they check if mom's on the phone or if mom's in a meeting, or before they even enter the room. So they've learned from very early age. They've learned to understand that it is important. And when I've had bad days, my children are very um empathetic, though, I get a lot of cuddles or from them. so so they are the reason for everything. So
Yeah, and receiving that cuddle from one of your children on a bad day kind of changes the whole day, doesn't it?
it does. I always say, well, they open the door to my office and they say, like, if they see me unhappy about something, the boys always ask, like, do you need a power cuddle? So they do know that it hasn't been easy, and they know that the money's been always tight. Trying to just using one income um, to support 5 people, so it hasn't been easy.
I'm guessing, yes, as a single parent, one income, trying to work all of the hours. How have you done it? What have you instilled in yourself to do that?
I honestly, I don't know, but I've always been very energetic. I think I'm a bit some percentage ADHD or something, because I do have a lot of energy, and I think it's the passion, because I've got such a passion to create something, and I've got a passion for sales, and that's something that it's just I get a kick out of it when I get a big sale, or the sale part of things. But I think it's the passion for business, and the passion for doing something that, like, I am passionate for pets and dogs and cats, and um, so it, I sometimes it doesn't even feel like work. It feels like just something that I'm passionate about doing. I want to do. So to me, it was always actually really weird that that people finish work at 4, because I never do. I never do. So it's more like 9, but it's not always a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I am a bit workaholic. I do have to admit that. So. But I think to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a little bit mad.
Just a little bit. I think Ben and I would
Yeah.
both agree that you have to be incredibly mad.
The impressive thing for me is the relocation as a single parent and settling, because I moved to Canada when I was 9. We remarried, and not sort of off we went. And I didn't settle very well, as memory serves, and yet I was the only child. So, how you managed with 4, and something I would keen to know is with your mental state. Sometimes you've mentioned the power cuddles, you've mentioned the good days, the bad days. Do you ever
Yeah.
congratulate yourself? Do you ever look back and think, Tarja did all right there, Tara?
I do.
Mm.
I do look back, and now I think, like, how did I
Did you
manage
manage?
that?
Mm.
How did I do that? But there wasn't really an option not to do it.
No.
It was just something that you just dealt with. It just had to keep going. And I think one of the really, really hard moments were in 2015 when I was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow. Okay.
So that took a couple of years, but yeah, that was difficult because but also funny. I've actually do have I'll tell you a funny story about that period of time. But like you said, it was difficult. When I had the chemotherapy, I ended up being in bed a week, normally week and a half at a time. And the way I kept running the business still, even when I was laying in bed. And the funny thing was, the good thing was my children speak English and write English really good, better than they do Finnish. So when I was laying in bed, I let all of my business associates to know that now I have a chemo again. So next week, you can only reach me by WhatsApp. So what happened is my Japanese like distributor would message me in WhatsApp saying like the shipment hasn't arrived or something like that, and I had my daughter next to me, 10-year-old daughter, messaging back saying like, I said, yeah, copy paste that and send that to the Chinese factory, or send that to this one and that one, and translate that to Finnish and ask them where that is and reply to them that. So my daughters kept doing that in WhatsApp, saying like, okay, mom, should I write this? So I had help. But also funny thing, if I can tell a story, it was it's actually really good because obviously I lost all my hair and I was wearing a wig with long hair, and at the time we were using not Teams, Skype. And the Skype ringing really, really loud, the Skype tone. So anyway, at home, the wig was always so hot. So I didn't wear it at home. And so I hear the Skype ringing. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot the meeting. I've got meeting with my Japanese distributor. And so I grabbed the wig and run to the front of the computer, put the wig on quickly and pressed play, and the camera's open. But I realized, oh shoot, the wig is wrong way around. And I kept turning the wig around. And there it was, Mr. Miyake staring at me, like mouth open, thinking like, oh my God, what's she doing? Like, I'm turning my wig in front of the camera. So I was like, oh, okay, hello. But that was actually funny. But yeah, my by all of the resellers, business associates, factories, everybody was very understanding during that time. But it did take a lot of the time. It was 2 years before everything got back to normal again. But business was running.
Keep going, don't you? Find a
Yeah.
way. Dig deep. Well done, you.
So even when you were struck down with cancer, you still wouldn't take time off.
No. I was actually at the hospital. In the hospital bed. I had these things like the medicine going through my veins, and I think that's what you call it, chemotherapy, don't you? Yeah. So anyway, the nurses were laughing because I had on a hospital bed. I had like a meeting, online meeting to China or Poland or anywhere, and one time a doctor came next to my bed. I had a Skype meeting at the same time. So the doctor came and wanted to speak to me, and I go, can you come back later? I'm busy. I've got a meeting. And the nurses were laughing. They said they've never seen anybody say to a doctor, it's like, can you come back later? I'm busy. It's like a patient saying that to a doctor. So, but yeah, business as usual.
So you really are a workaholic.
I am, yeah. But that I had to do that. That's when I didn't have a choice, because if I didn't continue working, I would have lost my house. I wouldn't have had any money coming in. So there was no option.
So despite everything going on, you were obviously still feeling the pressure to provide for yourself and for the children.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though the children are adults, they're still young, and they do need me to help them financially. If they're studying or whatever. So it's, so obviously I'm still trying to do my best to support us all as much as possible.
And it sounds like you've been through some really, really tough times, a lot of them as well, with business partners, with marriages, with cancer. How have you done it? What have you done to get through? Is it routine? Is it just grit your teeth determination? What do you think has been your way to overcome those situations?
I think it's the determination, because when something like when something happens, I don't concentrate on the problem. I concentrate on how to get through the problem. How do I fix this? And how everything will be better. What if I do this? If I go do these treatments, I'll be better. If I do this, it will be better. I concentrate on fixing things. And I think that is my main brain function, is to how to make this better. But when the business partner completely failed me, and I got into trouble because of somebody else, or what somebody else did, that's when I mentally collapsed, because when I was because it led to years of legal battles.
Yeah.
And in the end, legally, in front of the law, I lost, because as a guarantor, I was responsible for what she had stolen. And I ended up in personal debt, enforcement and restructuring, and it affected every part of my life. And I couldn't find a way forward. So that's I couldn't fix it. So that's when I mentally just collapsed.
Been there.
Yeah,
Or close
I
to,
think.
maybe different, but similar.
Yeah, no,
Mental,
I agree.
bam,
I
I can't
think.
get out of this.
Yeah, we get to those points sometimes, don't we?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and what did you do at that point? Did you reach out to somebody, to professionals, to family, to friends, or
Well,
did you feel that you couldn't? Or
it basically, the children were, obviously they were quite big, but not big enough. You don't want to kind of like give these problems to them to carry. And so I tried to, as long as I could, I was trying to keep holding on to the hope and the, like trying to find ways to fix it, like what I normally do. But I have to say that there was a point where I was mentally at my lowest. I started questioning everything, um, even my ability to keep going.
yeah,
And because I felt like I had failed, and not just as an entrepreneur, but as a person, because I felt like there was just not, I couldn't see anything positive in the future. I didn't know how to fix it. And it was a very difficult place to be. And one of the hardest things was to accept the feeling of unfairness, which because I've always been a kind of person, very straightforward, very honest. When, because it affected this um, kind of betrayal, affected me in every ways, and even in a business life, because it's a small town where I live. It was even like the banks and financial institutions, the trust changes very quickly when something like this happens, and um, they don't care about the full story, regardless of the full story, or they don't want to know. They just blame you, and that's something I had to learn to deal with. But what helped me to survive was actually very simple. It was I had to change my way of thinking.
okay,
Um, I I started. I had to start thinking that this is a situation. It's not who I am, and and obviously I also went into therapy because I just kept crying all the time. It just wouldn't stop. But but with the therapy and kind of teaching myself the different kind of different way of thinking, um, I slowly started to rebuild myself, and I think the children have always been the biggest reason to keep going, and because you always have the responsibility to them, and in the end, it's just remembering what really matters,
yeah.
what actually matters. But yeah,
And
it's
sorry, at that point where you decided to reach out and go and take part in therapy, I've been there. I've said on these podcasts before. I've spent time, and I think psychotherapy is amazing.
yeah.
I think it really does help, but I found it felt almost like I'd failed having to ask for help. Did you feel the same,
Yes.
or were you feeling more positive? And
Yeah.
how did you feel after your first session
Yeah, I
compared
do
to
remember
before?
because um, I've been such a like business oriented, go forward, fix things oriented, that I always thought that like needing therapy is a weakness. I always thought that that's for somebody who's much weaker than me. I'm not that weak. I don't need therapy. And when you actually reach that low where you can't keep going, I had to basically I went to an ER, like an emergency clinic, because I didn't know what to do. I wouldn't even know how to seek therapy or what to do. And the doctor there sent me into therapy. And yes, I think that saved me, because it's just you were able to openly speak about things that you couldn't. You could speak to somebody a little bit, or somebody else a little bit, but not the full story. And I
Yeah.
needed someone to listen. Yeah. But it
Yeah.
did help.
And do you think that was a bit of a turning point for you?
I do, but it is still ongoing,
Yeah.
because I'm still going through these things, and I'm not clear. How do you say clear in the water? What do you say?
Yeah.
It's not, everything's not over. So things are still, this very difficult period is still ongoing at the moment. So, but I am finally starting to see the light in the tunnel. And I think what I've started doing is that I want to think positively. I'm starting to get myself back into way of, how do I fix this? How do I make myself better? And that's when I know that I'm back, that I'm starting to find these ways to think again like that. How can I do this better? And if I get through this, how can I get to point B? But yeah, you can think, anybody, you can survive more than, you can survive more than you think. It might sound like you've gone through a lot, but it's like, I think that everybody would just get into the survival mode when things happen. But if you have people around you, or if it's therapy that helps you, I think that's better, because it feels like you don't have to survive alone. So
That's sort
Go
of
on,
the
Ben.
point of why we do this, isn't it? You said to me 6 months ago, whatever it was, the support there's woeful, and let's at least go and talk about it, because I remember one of the low points of my life is being on a ball on my kitchen floor crying when one of my twin girls walked in at 2 years old. And that was when I sort of got myself up and dust myself down, and we solve problems one step at a time, small steps, and the first one is making that phone call to solve the first problem. And it sounds, you had a similar moment, and it also sounds in something that you said about how you felt in the time, because as people, we judge each other by our own standards. So you feeling very let down by a partner who did something to you you would never do yourself is almost doubly disappointing. And when the bank and the credit companies who give you a rating decide you are this grade, in other words, don't touch this person with any money with a barge pole, well, it doesn't really take into account what I went through then, where we are now, and how things are now. It's just, I've got a court judgment against me from a similar, I thought the bank was going to take my house off me. It didn't come to that, thankfully. But it takes a few years before you get trusted again, whereas it's a completely different set of circumstances now.
yeah.
The way of the world sometimes isn't fair, is it? But do you feel you as a person, particularly a business person, but as an overall person, has improved as a consequence of what you've been through? Your resilience has come through shining, and respectfully, what a woman you are now after been through all that.
I think when I had the cancer, that stopped me
Mm.
and got me thinking what matters most. Got kind of stopped me to um, think what is, children are important, your health is important. Um, but it's a weird thing when when that's over and you're healthy again, how quickly you go back into the same rails, same way of doing things. And the speed just get going faster and faster. And again, something that had to come that stopped you. And this time it was really horrible for having somebody to fail you that
Yeah.
badly, get into so much trouble for somebody else.
Yeah.
But if I could, I do know now that I've gotten quite big lessons in life, and now I'm in the point that I don't small things. I don't want to. I hate arguing. I don't know. I hate drama. I I I don't want to waste time for things like that. I want to think positively. I write thank you journal every day. I remember to say thank you for small things during the day. Like for this podcast that I was invited to. You'll be in my thank you journal this evening.
That was a good
But
answer, wasn't it? Yeah.
and it helps me to remember the good things rather than let the bad things take over in my head. So I think that's what the therapy has taught me, to stay positive. But yes, it has definitely taught me to be better.
And if you don't mind me asking, what do you do with the bad thoughts?
Sorry, what do I
What
do?
do you do with the negative thoughts, the bad thoughts, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, something I did once, and I might do again perhaps, was write them down and then shred them so I can literally
Yeah,
see them being destroyed.
that's actually quite good advice. I should start doing that. It's when the bad thoughts come, what I do is that I do ring my therapist because I know might sound silly, because sometimes the cycle. You think of a bad thought and it leads you to another and another, and you're in this cycle that you can't get out. You just keep thinking the bad thoughts and it gets worse and worse and worse. So what I've been trying to teach myself to do is that when I get the first bad thought, like the negative thought, I try to stop myself there and turn it into positive so that I won't get into the same circle that kind of just sinks you when you let yourself with these negative thoughts, and let the circle, like let yourself get into this circle, it's difficult to get out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It sounds like you've created some good habits, some good routines. So you mentioned your thank you journal at the end of each day. I've not heard of that before, and that sounds a really, really good idea, so that you're finding the positive in every day.
Yeah, even the small things, just saying, oh, thank you for my daughter getting a good grade. Thank you for my son finding a new friend. Or, thank you for my friend calling me. It's just very focusing on the small things, because otherwise you forget them. They're just things that happen during the day, but you forget that they're good things.
And the other thing is you're writing down your thoughts, closing the book. So when you go to bed, you're not thinking
Yeah,
about things. You're
yeah,
sleeping better, hopefully, presumably.
yeah. And one thing was that when you let these negative thoughts
Mm.
in your head, you can't sleep. And that's what happened to me. I stopped sleeping. And especially because they tend to come, these negative monsters tend to come just when you go to bed, and then you can't sleep. And
Is it
yeah,
because that's the time that you're trying to clear your mind down, and
yeah,
that's when the thoughts creep in because you've
yeah,
now got an empty mind?
yeah. So what
Yeah,
I've started doing this thank you journal just when I go to bed, so that I go to bed with good positive thoughts.
that's brilliant.
Does make sense. Yeah. My mum's going to love you. She teaches a journaling course. So, yeah, it helps some people, I know. So, I've one more question for you, Tarja. And going back a couple of subjects, when you were rebuilding yourself, your resilience, which is impressive, we can say, what effect did that have on your children? And I don't just mean the negatives. An awful lot of what we do brushes off on others. I think it's something we become 90% of the 6 people we see most of in our day-to-day lives. So having that influence,
Yeah,
would you say that's helped toughen them up for the everyday life? Because some parents really shield their children from the fact it's a cruel world at times, and then when they leave
yeah.
school, look for a
I
job, they're
can,
totally
yeah,
unprepared.
I can understand that.
Mm.
I think because I've always worked from home and children have always been present, um, me and the children, we are very, very close, very close. And um, I'm not good at hiding, like my feelings. So we speak a lot, and we sit around the table and we speak a lot with my children. So, and I do, if things get like money wise, for example, if we're very tight on money, I sit them down and I explain them why this has happened, how does it affect all of us, and what can we do, and how long this is going to last, what am I going to do to fix it. So I think the children have always been fully aware
Mm.
what's happening, and in good and bad.
So
So
do you almost plan the next steps with them?
yeah, because I think it's fair,
Mm.
because they I don't know, it's just we've always had a very, very it's quite difficult to explain, but we've had really close relationship with all of my children. And I have seen how it has affected them, and always I go to them when I see that. If I see them that they're sad because of me or because of my situation, I comfort them, and I'm there for them. And we talk about it, and I assure, like, you do not need to worry about this. I am going to fix this, and this is what going to happen. But yeah, I haven't hid anything from them. So they've always been fully aware what's happening. And it's difficult to hid anything from your children, or your feelings, or good or bad things, because when you work at home, they're there, they're present.
Mm.
And you can't just step out of the room and just completely change yourself. But I think it's the openness that has helped all of us to survive. And also because I think I've always felt, and I think the children have always felt, like we're in this together. it's not just me, separate thing doing this. This is all for all of us. We're in this together. And funny thing, all of my children say they're never going to be entrepreneurs.
No. Yeah, seen the toll
You've put
it
them off for
takes.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't blame them in a way. But I was interested there because as a parent, my main role is to prepare these kids I've got for adult life. And without going too deep into other people, but some people have a very easy start. They get the grades they want, a good university, find a good job. It's not until something goes wrong and they're a complete mess because they're not used to anything ever going wrong. So here's your children at a young age, things going wrong. Here's the plan, stay positive, boom, 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 and there we go, we got out of it. And I never thought of it like that before, but I think that's great.
Yeah.
And staying with the kind of more positive things, we've talked a lot about the challenges you've faced in your life, and you've gone through and how you've overcome them. We've not talked about the best bits. So tell me, other than the birth of your children, because that's always a highlight for every parent.
Yeah.
Tell me about kind of your proudest moment in life.
Well, one thing that I can say is that how I got into, do you know the American chain, Chewy.com in America? One of my kind of like big business achievements. So I decided that I want to get business open to the US. And so I was trying to reach the purchasing departments, but you don't really get their even their emails or phone numbers that you could ring somebody directly because they're big companies. So I kept thinking, how can I do this? I want that. How do I do this? So I thought LinkedIn. So what I did is that I looked into the Chewy.com company site at LinkedIn, and I looked at there was, oh my God, there were thousands of employees. But I thought, well, okay, let's just do this. I copy pasted same message saying, greetings from Finland. I would like to do business with you. Who can I contact? And I copy pasted the same message evening after evening to so many Chewy employees. It didn't matter if it was a buyer or CEO or logistic manager or assistant or student trainee, every single one, because I thought it could be a student trainee whose mom is a purchasing department, or it can be a CEO with a wife there, or it can be a logistic person with a friend there. And I'm not kidding. I did that every evening, watching TV, just with my computer, laptop on my lap, copy pasting the same message, greetings from Finland, and for months. And I'm not even kidding. It could have been approximately even eight months, but for months. But I decided I am going to do this. Somebody will answer. Well, all of those thousands and thousands and thousands of messages that I sent, 5 answered. I replied. Only 2 answered me back. And I replied again. And this one person happened to be on a warehouse manager. And his good friend was in the purchasing. And in a couple of days, I had a meeting with the purchasing department.
Wow.
And I got Finero products into Chewy.
Persistence.
So it did help. And I still keep in contact with this one person. He actually he loved Finland. So that's why he replied.
So by spamming everybody at Chewy and just using that determination,
yes,
you got probably one of the biggest buyers of pet products globally, not just in the US, but globally.
Yeah, and we've got the business starting like really, really pick up in the US. So it's been a good decision to do, but it did take me a long time.
And that's amazing. And to couple with that, you mentioned very early on that you've got investors.
Yes.
And that can be quite a challenging thing to do, getting people on board. So how did you manage? Because you've got some pretty big investors,
Well,
I
yes.
understand.
Well, I've got a little bit smaller investor as a company. There is it's like a group of smaller investors. I think there's like over 40 people. They decided this to form an investment group, and they arranged like a bit of like a Shark Tank type of or like a Dragon's Den is in the UK, Dragon's Den. Um, this type of competition, and we won. And but it was actually funny because I had everything prepared in Finnish, and I thought I was going to go in front of them and present the company and everything in Finnish. Minute before I'm going in front of this big like audience of investors, they told me, oh, there's a couple English speaking people, so you need to do it all in English. I was like, oh, okay, I've got everything in Finnish, but fine. And it went okay. And so I had to kind of do it something like just spur of a moment kind of thing. And but yeah, we won that. So we got these investors involved. They I think they've got a bit less than 20% of the company now. And then there was another big investor, which has like big banks and insurance companies and actually cities. So it's a big fund, many millions in that fund, and they invest into small companies that have potential growing, and we were the first one they chose into this investment program. So yeah.
And that must have felt pretty amazing as well, because you've got other people believing in you and the business that
Yes.
you've started, that you're in charge of.
Yeah.
So not only have you got that belief in your products and your company from a buyer, from Chewy, but you've then got that belief and investment in your company from investors who are looking for a return. They're not going to invest in a company that they don't see is going to give them a return, and they don't see is being led really, really well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, yeah, it does feel good.
that I was going to say, that must have been an amazing feeling.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and I've always been very, very super honest with all of my investors, so that whatever has happened in life or in with my other business, that where everything went wrong and how it affected my personal life. And so I've always been very straightforward and very open and honest with everyone. So they fully know the situation what I'm in, for example, at the moment.
And just a couple of questions before I suppose we wrap up. Looking back, is there anything you feel you should or would have done differently if you could do it again?
Ah, good question. Would I would not trust, even no matter if it's a business partner, best friend, anybody who it is, I would not trust anybody with my money. I wish I'd been more involved in the finance and money side of things with that company. But because I was so busy running two companies and doing sales for two companies, and so I was grateful for the help that I got from my friend so that she would handle all the financial situations and like invoicing and money movements. But if anything, I would change that because that has caused so much grief.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Just an observation before you move on to your next question, Stuart. Is that a regret or is that the best lesson in life?
sorry, is that a regret
Is it a
or
regret, like you said, or is that one of the best lessons in life? Because you won't make that mistake again. If you didn't make it in the first place,
I
would it be
I
different? It's tricky, isn't it?
yeah, that's a tricky one. Can it be both?
Possibly. I ask myself
Yeah.
that sometimes. So
And what would you say is the best thing about being a business owner and a parent at the same time, as opposed to just working for somebody else?
it's never dull, is it?
Yeah, it's never dull. Um, well, um, I
Why do you do it?
sorry.
Why do you do it? Why is it better? Do you believe, as we all believe, it is to be a business owner and a parent, as opposed to just going out and having a regular job, if you like, and a parent?
Well, well, if if there's something that I would say to other entrepreneurs or parents, I think I would say don't try to handle everything on your own, or don't try to handle everything alone. Is and don't ignore the warning signs. And it's like in business or in life, because obviously now looking back, there were warning signs, but I did ignore them because I wanted to trust somebody else. But, but yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't change anything. It's been a lot of things that happened, and I can definitely say my life has not been boring. Yeah, in good and bad.
Yeah, from what we've learnt today, your life's definitely not been boring.
No, no,
It sounds like it's been a complete roller coaster. But I think
definitely.
the most important thing above everything else is you're still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
You're still here.
I'm still
You
standing.
know, your kids, I'm sure, would be exactly the same, that, and feel exactly the same, that you've been through all of that and you're still here for them.
Yeah,
And I think it's really good advice of don't ignore the warning signs. You've mentioned it around people and business, but also personally,
yeah,
you probably ignored some of the warning signs from your own body
yeah,
at times as well.
exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. And
and it
it's true. And my children are wonderful. They are very strong minded, very type of people that want to fix things and want to move forward and passionate about things that they do. So I think I've given them something. I've, I've taught them something.
and what does the future hold for you? Or what do you want the future to hold for you?
um, I'm looking. I would like to move back abroad. I'm now that the children have their own lives. Um, I think it's my time to. It's time for me to concentrate on what I want now, and I'm actually thinking of either moving to back to Italy or back to the UK. I'm going to be traveling because I can still work just using my laptop. So I'm planning to kind of just feel different places and see where I feel like I should settle down. So I'm I'm kind of feeling a bit excited about this now, even though um like I said, things aren't over yet, and everything's not easy. And I still have days when I struggle mentally, and when the bad thoughts and bad feelings are very close. But I'm dealing with those moments, and I'm dealing with those thoughts, and I really want to focus on moving forward and positive thoughts, and I want to smile every day, and I want to laugh every day, and one day at a time. But I miss speaking Italian, I miss speaking English, I miss England, I miss my Tesco's tea, and there's so many good things in England or in Italy, and I miss my friends in both countries. So it's going to be England or Italy.
So it's you time now for the
Yes,
future.
definitely.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tarja, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think there'll be people out there that really can get inspiration from what you've been through and come through and found ways to deal with. You are certainly probably the most or one of the most resilient people I've ever met.
Well,
You
thank
you
you.
you
Thank
have
you.
just untold levels, and you just get knocked down and you get back up again.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's life. And I do want to say to whoever is listening, if my story resonates, I I would love to, if you get any comments, or if you do get anybody who could want to speak to me about similar situations or things like that, I would be more than happy to exchange emails, or people to contact me, because I'm even planning to open my own YouTube channel at some point, where
Wow.
fantastic.
where I can talk about things and maybe help companies to start business, come to the Scandinavian countries, or maybe I can help businesses to go international. So yeah, if there's anybody who would want to get in touch, I would be very delighted.
What we can do is anybody that comments or emails us directly at podcast@parentingbusiness.com, we'll certainly share some details. And I think, in future, we'd love to have you back so you can talk to us about where you're at that point in the future, and maybe you'll have yet another business
Yeah, never know.
under your belt.
You never know. Yeah, I'd
Tarja,
love to come back.
brilliant. It's been, it's been truly inspirational, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Wow. I think that's all I can say to that one.
Well, we started this because we wanted raw conversations, raw
Yeah.
experiences, and again, our guests, speakers, interviewees, whatever you want to phrase it, haven't disappointed. When you think of the list, that moving countries, 4 children, I mean, that's enough to put a burden on anybody. But
Yeah.
the business she's running, I mean, you fast forward a few years, she had a business partner do the dirty, for want of a better term. Probably
Yeah.
not pick the right phrase, but I think we'll get the gist. She did 4 kids on her own and grafted whilst having cancer, and
Yeah.
still pushed that business forward. I mean, what a woman! It takes some of the experiences we've had into perspective. I mean, Christ,
I
hasn't
think
she done well?
Yeah, I think it does. But I also think it shows what you can achieve, even when you're going through some of your darkest times. That focus can can really keep you on track,
Hmm.
can really keep you pushing forward. And I think it is just about focusing on what's important to you.
Hmm.
I mean, as I said, kind of during the interview, I've known Tarja for a long, long time now, and she never stops. She never ever stops. She, I'm sure, wants to give up at times, but never does. Just keeps pushing forward, keeps working, and is focused on that work. It's not, people talk about the hustle and, oh, you've got to hustle and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And then others, like we've had on in the past, John, talk about, no, you've got to be laser focused. You don't need to hustle in that way. Well, Talia's kind of hustling and staying focused. She has an end goal in mind. She's got to the point now where her children, as she said, are all kind of older. She's moving around, if you like, a little bit to try and find where she wants to settle down for her life, because she's taught her children well through all of that, and they're forging their own paths and creating their own lives. So yeah, all credit to her. And this whole idea that she said around, she's in Spain at the minute. She's thinking of spending some time back in Italy. She's thinking of coming to the UK to decide where she wants to settle. And I think, that's the right way to do. That's the drive of her, that she spent that time building those businesses. And yes, she's gone through those challenges. Yes, she's provided for her children. She's taught her children well. And now she's thinking, okay, I've been through all of this. I've come out the other side. I'm still here. It's me time.
Yeah, which is fair play, isn't it? When the last couple of decades she's been through.
Yeah, so much respect for her.
Mm.
So and yeah, thanks to her for being properly open. We seem to get it that, as you said, all of our guests tend to be quite raw and open, and are seemingly becoming more so. And I do feel that's where we're a little bit different to a lot of other stuff out there.
And it helps people to get things like this off the chest. And you bottle it up
Absolutely.
and bottle it up and bottle it up, and one day, boom. So
we've said it's cathartic for us.
There you are with your big words again. We can show off. Go on.
I know. Anywho, before we wrap up, we've got a couple of things to do. I think the first one we've got to do is the big
simple one tonight. So simple.
Go on then.
What noise does a giraffe make? Yep, that was exactly my reaction. Never heard a giraffe make a noise. Clip clop when it walks. I don't know.
They must do. I'm sure they do.
Well, listeners.
The odd thing is, I have a feeling I've heard the noise that they make, but I can't remember it. Only from like a nature program or something, or
listeners,
some David
record yourself making a giraffe noise and send it in. Because we don't know what noise a giraffe makes. I haven't got a clue. Not a Scooby-Doo. Glad you didn't know either. I was expecting
no, I've got.
Then.
That's properly caught me off guard.
Yeah,
because
the questions are normally a little bit philosophical in terms of your children are asking questions which you don't really want to give them the full answer whilst they're 4 years old.
Yeah.
But you're not going to lie to them either. So normally it's a bit of a, how do you phrase, eating bacon when Peppa Pig's on the telly. But what noise a giraffe make, Daddy? I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. No, I'll go with that. I've not got a Scooby.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so listeners,
record yourself making a giraffe noise.
Send it as an attachment to podcast@parentingbusiness.com, and let's see if we get.
Let's see what people think. Maybe somebody knows. Maybe that would even be better, wouldn't it, if somebody knows?
That is now going to be something I'm going to Google afterwards.
Oh God, yeah, you won't sleep tonight.
No, I won't. I'm
Fucking
going to
noise
have
for a
to
giraffe,
actually.
mate.
I'm going to have to find that out.
Oh.
Okay, so that's your question. Come
That's
on
a
then.
question.
Let's finish on your dad joke.
Well, I've been through my database for tonight's dad joke.
Your database.
My database. And what do you call a pig that does martial arts?
Oh, I got this one. Go on.
Pork chop. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Those of us that are glued to politics will be staying up for the results of the national landslide.
And actually, something we didn't mention at the top of the show.
No.
Very appropriate for us. May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Is it?
It is. So I think.
Luckily, we have a smashing guest next time who works in this field.
Not next time.
No, the time after. The next guest.
You keep doing this.
Yeah.
You keep doing this. You keep saying, we've got the next guest and it's going to be the next episode and this, that and the other. And then I'm left in the shit
no, you're not.
trying to edit episodes.
You're just saying you've got nothing to do all week. Loneliness is killing you. Well, there's just some fucking editing.
It is. Yes, it is. It is Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So I think it's really appropriate that we have some chats, and I'm sure on next week's show, when it's kind of back to just us, we can unpick that a little bit more, because we'll be kind of halfway through the month then, and I think we can talk about that and how it has affected us a lot more, and the stuff that we've come through. So do join in. Well, join in by emailing us your stories of mental health challenges that you've maybe gone through as a parent and or business owner. Email us podcast@parentingbusiness.com. Do make sure to share the podcast with other parents and business owners, because we are here to try and support people's mental health. That's why Ben and I set this podcast up. So yeah, let's really try and do a big push this month and just be aware and support each other a lot more. And I think on that note, it's time for us to say we will see you next Thursday.
We shall. And if anybody's struggling to sleep tonight, try and figure out what noise a giraffe makes. Sweet dreams.
There you go. That's one way to completely screw up your mental health.